Hey everybody, I'm here today to show you and tell you how to paint kitchen cabinets that are already painted. This will be a full tutorial, but it'll also be a super duper easy peasy tutorial, so let's get right into the video. As you can see right here, this is a kitchen cabinet that I have, and it is already painted indeed. This is actually my old kitchen cabinet. We did a renovation, and I kept one of the cabinet doors. They had already been painted by the previous owners, just because I wanted to do some videos with it before I got rid of it. So essentially, you want to judge the cabinet itself, and you want to see the cabinet door I'm talking about, and you want to see if it is good enough with regards to quality for you to just paint over it, or if you have to do anything to it, because there might be a crack in it, there might be some work that needs to be done to it with regards to woodwork. You can see with this one right here, there is actually a small crack over here. So if I was going to paint this and use it, I would probably put a little bit of wood filler there and sand it down after it dried. But if it is, when it is ready to be painted, this is the process that you're going to follow. Okay, essentially, number one, you want to before you scuff up the cabinet, number one, you want to remove all hardware. So you can see I've already removed the handle, and you want to remove the hinges too. I left the hinges on because after this video I'm done with this cabinet, I'm going to get rid of it, but you want to remove the hinges as well, okay, unless your hinges are painted, and if that's the case, then you can just leave them on and paint them over again. These ones are already painted, but I would still remove them either way, basically. Okay, but the choice is yours. Once everything's removed, the second thing that you want to do is scuff it up with some sandpaper. So as you can see right over here, I have some sandpaper, and you just want to take your sandpaper, you just want to rough it up a little bit. So I wouldn't go crazy with it, but you know, just quite a bit. Okay, so you can see a lot of the dust that is coming off of it. Okay, but essentially, you don't want to go too crazy with it, but you just want to scuff it up a little bit. You want the surface to be ready for the paint to adhere to, okay? Once you've used your sandpaper and scuffed it up, the third thing that you want to do is you want to use a leaf blower to just blow off all the dust, because you want a super clean surface. So what I'm going to do instead for this tutorial is I'm just going to use my breath, okay? Just like this. But obviously, in a real situation, if you're trying to do a great job, you want to really get rid of all of that dust. And then once that's done, you want to either prime it or start applying your paint with a built-in primer. So if your paint does not have a built-in primer, or if you want to prime it anyways, because some people just prefer to prime their stuff no matter what, even if they're using a paint and primer combo, then go ahead and prime it, okay? Let the primer dry, and when you're ready to paint it, you're gonna paint it. Now, with your primer, you don't want to go too thick, because you want to retain all of the ridges on the cabinet door, all of the details. So go very, 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 very thin with your primer, and it will do its job. It will still allow the paint to stick. Now, when it comes time to painting, you have a couple of options essentially. Number one, you can use a paint sprayer, or number two, you can use just a paintbrush. Number three, you can use a roller, but it's, you know, a combination of a paintbrush and a roller is kind of the same thing. Now, if you're using a paintbrush or a paint sprayer, and I'll demonstrate with my paint sprayer right now in a moment. If you're using a paintbrush and a roller, you want to make sure that you try to get rid of as many brush strokes as possible. You don't want to have any brush strokes or any roll marks or anything like that. And on the other hand, if you're using a paint sprayer, you want to spray it on nice and evenly, and you want to do a few thin coats. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just demonstrate the first coat of paint on this right over here. I have my trusty paint sprayer over here. It's got, I believe, some black, like charcoal colored paint in it, because it's just spare paint that I'm no longer using. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip my camera screen out so I can sort of see what you all are seeing. Here I am. Hopefully I'm on camera right there. And I'm going to take my paint sprayer, and we're going to spray this down, and we're going to just get a first, like a base coat on here. Now, this is a paint and primer combo in here, but like I said, if you're priming it, then you can prime it and let it dry. So let's go ahead. I'm going to stay about 8 inches away from the cabinet, and we're going to spray this on. Now, before you finish, okay, it's very important to note that most kitchen cabinets are going to have various angles. So it looks like I've painted it, but in reality, all of these angles don't have paint on them. So what I would do is then I would go and I would basically hit up all of the angles like this. Okay, Now I'm gonna just sort of go around the camera on the other side here. Let's get rid of that sandpaper that fell on there. And I'm gonna do this angle too. And this angle up here as well. And obviously, if I was doing this for real, I would continue going further and further, basically just getting every single last little bit of cabinet painted. Now, the benefit to using something like a roller and a brush is that essentially if you want to paint them on the cabinet, if you want to paint them inside, then you can get away with probably using a roller and a brush. You can just paint them directly on the cabinet if you mask everything off properly. If you're using a sprayer like this, you basically have to take the cabinet face off. It just won't work. You're just going to get paint everywhere if you don't do that. So it's sort of a pros and cons game, and you have to figure out what works for you. But that is essentially it. That is how to paint kitchen cabinets that have already been painted. You're gonna let this coat dry, you're gonna do a second coat, and to be honest with you, if you want a really good finish, you're probably gonna do a third coat as well. 2 coats will give you a good finish, but if you want a superb finish, you're probably gonna go with 3 coats. And that is essentially it. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below as a comment, and of course, be sure to subscribe for more great videos just like this one. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.